it's Thorn. How are you? Welcome to my home. Welcome to another Wednesday Q&A. I'm back from France and a wacky new haircut. Having a good time. And yeah, thought I'd answer a few more of your questions. Hey, if you've got a question, go to my Facebook music page, facebook.com/guitarnerd. You can send me a question there via a Facebook message, and I will get to it just as soon as I can in one of these videos. So, okay, first up is from Marcus, and he's asking me about road cases. He says there's a lot of options, different thicknesses and materials. Specifically, is there a brand I recommend? He's in the market for a new amp head case. The sort of the traditional road cases are terrific, and I usually got mine from A&S cases here in Los Angeles, and I believe they're still in North Hollywood. They moved from the location they were at for a long, long time, but I think they are still in North Hollywood. They're somewhere in the San Fernando Valley. So A&S case is always a great resource for a custom, sort of very professional road case. They'll do all kinds of stuff. They make like road case tiki bars. They'll do absolutely anything. So they're really cool in that respect. They've got some great lightweight options, and the last few cases that I've gotten from them were that sort of, I specifically requested the lightweight material. Got a really nice acoustic guitar road case from them that it looks like it should weigh a ton, but it doesn't. It's super light. And it's got wheels on the end and a handle, so you can kind of roll it if you're going through the airport or something. Really great cases, A&S case. I've also got cases in LA from Dragon Cases. I don't know if they're around anymore or not. I'm not really sure. But they made me some nice cases. Now, having said that, for sort of a easily available option and somewhat less expensive, SKB is doing some great stuff, and I think Gator is too, which are those kind of like molded plastic cases that are almost like sort of a Pelican case style. That's another option too. Pelican cases are great. So I recently got a Telecaster road case from SKB, and it's like indestructible. I think it was around $300, which ain't cheap, but for a road case, it's not bad. It's that molded material, but it's waterproof. I think, like you can literally throw the thing in the ocean and it's supposed to not leak. It's got wheels on one end, so you can kind of pull it with a handle, and it's just super cool. What a great case. So I bought that in Japan last year. Really, really nice case. So check out some of the options available from companies like SKB and stuff. You might be surprised with what you can just get without having to kind of custom order something. Okay, so let's see. Doug asks, what kind of mixing desk that has the built-in rack rails is it that I have in my studio? That desk is like, it's just this piece of crap that I literally bought from somebody that was selling one through the local paper. I think I got it God, I've had that thing for so long, I can't even remember when I got it. At least 10 years, probably more. And it was $50, and I think it came from Guitar Center. So Guitar Center has some nice studio desk options for like cheaper stuff, or Musician's Friend. Certainly Sweetwater does. I know if you go there, you can order some studio furniture from them. If you want kind of some more upper end stuff, Vintage King, who I've done a bunch of video downloads for, they've got some great options for studio desks. So yeah, just go in and you can pretty much just type in the search box on the Sweetwater page or the Musician's Friend page at Guitar Center or whatever, or Vintage King. Just look for studio furniture, and you'll see all the kind of desk options pop up. But mine is like, it's so I need a new one. It's a really crappy desk. It's all falling apart on the bottom and stuff. One of these days I'll get around to that. Marlon asks. He says he can't find where to send a question or email, so he'll have to ask it here. Well, you came to the right place. This is exactly where to do it. He's running a TC Electronic G Major through the series effects loop on his amp, and he wants to add a compressor, very squished. I guess he wants a super compressed sound. Yet he's told to run compressor pedals into the front end of his amp. What's a rack guy to do? It's kind of not like a very commonly done thing these days to run a compressor in an effects loop or sort of post preamp. But people did it back in the day, that's for sure. I mean, you'd see, DBX 160s, 160Xs, in racks, and people used them in effects loops and things. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing it that way. You're going to want to use a relatively clean sound, or actually probably as clean as possible, because you're running it post preamp. and in which case you're going to really be boosting whatever noise is already there in the signal. So just be aware of that. But there's nothing, if it sounds good, it is good. That's what I always say. You also want to be aware if the compressor is sort of geared towards line level signal or guitar level signal. Pedals are obviously guitar level. Many rack effects are sort of set up for a line level or +4 signal. Some effects loops might have more of an instrument level kind of send, or some of them are set up to be real hot. It just depends, and some of them are adjustable. So just be aware of that, like setting levels and stuff, and making sure the compressor is sort of operating like it's supposed to be. That you're not absolutely slamming it with level when it doesn't want to see that much level, that kind of thing. But yeah, nothing wrong with running a compressor in a loop as long as it sounds good. Okay, Jason, he says he's a fellow Sir artist and a Pete Thorn fan. Thank you. And he has a question for me for the Q&A, which is, how do I get my guitars to sound and feel three-dimensional in a mix? He says, it seems like the full range of frequencies from my guitars in my tunes are spread out across the soundscape, and he says they sound amazing. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Almost like the bass and lower mids on my guitars are on the outsides and the mids and highs are centered. Do I achieve this by manipulating parallel compression or anything like that? No, nothing like that. A lot of the stuff that I'm doing these days is with impulse responses, as you guys know, and they just sound so good that it's like having a perfectly mic'd cabinet, and that in conjunction with these great reactive load boxes we got these days, it's really easy to get a great thick, fat recorded guitar sound, I find, that's got lots of clarity too. So there's that. Sometimes I'm adding a little bit of ambience to my guitar signals, and I use the Universal Audio Ocean Way Studios plugin a lot for that. To just add like a hint of room that's giving the guitar sound a little bit of dimension that you feel more than hear. Not like obvious reverb or anything like that, but it sort of places the guitar in a bit of an acoustic space that makes it sound, a little more lively. So I really like the Ocean Way Studios plugin for that. You might investigate that. But other than that, just kind of dialing in tones using my ear and just, tweaking all the available parameters until the guitars sound just right. Obviously panning, kind of placing things in the spectrum just right. And EQ is a thing, in my songs. It's like I try and carve out a space for whatever part is supposed to be featured at the time. And many times that's through subtractive EQ. Sometimes if it's a lead part, I tend to boost lead parts to make them poke out a little bit more. And you can do that in the kind of like, 1.5 to 2.5K range. I find those mids right in that range are really where an electric guitar will kind of, just fatten up and poke right through, especially for like lead parts that are kind of up the neck. So that can be a helpful frequency to kind of, somewhere there, like around 2K. Just kind of boost, and I mean like it's slight, like a dB and a half or 2 dB at 2K can really give you some, nice clarity for lead parts and stuff like that. And then sort of, obviously not boosting that on the rhythm guitars and stuff, leaving some space for the lead guitars. And also, I've talked about this a lot, but kind of the subtractive EQ thing where I pull out maybe a little bit of 250 to 350 hertz, something like that, on rhythm guitars, leaving a little bit of space for the bass and stuff like that. It's all just massaging everything just so that it all fits and there's nice room for everything in the mix. Sorry, I don't actually have a name for the next person that asked this question, which is unfortunate, but it's a fella that says he's been following my videos for a long time in my music and wondering if I can give him an opinion on a gear purchase. He needs a direct-to-PA solution for playing live, so he can't use an amp. He basically uses three sounds, clean Fendery, sort of a drive Marshally rhythm tone, and then a lead tone, which is like Marshall with more gain. And he laid out a whole bunch of options of different devices. One of them was the Line 6 Helix, and asking if I think that would be a good option. Absolutely, it sounds great. I love the Helix. I'm sitting on the floor right in front of me right now. So that's a totally cool option. Of course, the other things you want to look at are things like the Kemper or the AX8 from Fractal. All those devices, they're all so good these days. So just look at the various feature sets of all of these things and see which one works for you. But Helix is a terrific option, absolutely. Angel asks, he's asked me actually if I've had a manager And if so, how has management helped me? And if I don't have a manager, why? Well, I've been in bands, lots of bands that have managers. Me personally, I've never had a personal manager. I've often thought about it because I am kind of like a little bit scatterbrained. So it's hard for me sometimes with recording my own music and like doing pedal demos, and then of course juggling gigs and trying to just organize everything. Even doing these videos and stuff like that. It's like trying to like just find enough hours in the day to answer emails and like all that stuff. And I feel like, yeah, if I had a manager, I'd gladly, pay somebody a portion of what I make to kind of like funnel my workflow and say, here's what you're doing today. But I don't know if, that's realistic or not for me. In this day and age, it's like we do a lot of things. We're our own manager and our own publicists, and then you got to find time to just get the work done and stuff like that too. So, just kind of is what it is. I would consider it at some point getting a manager of some sort to help me out, just in kind of organizing my life, but and sort of funneling my workflow, making me more productive. But yeah, I just haven't. That kind of scares me, because you get involved with somebody, it's a relationship, and there's contracts involved, and then you're going down that road, and there's of course a ton of nightmare stories out there. So it's I don't know. It's working for me now the way I'm doing things. So I guess I just roll with it, kind of doing everything on my own. Evan asks. He says he really enjoyed the show with Scott Henderson, the Tim and Pete show. Thanks for that. That's awesome. And he's wondering if I could talk a little bit about how I stretch and care for my hands to avoid things like tendonitis and carpal tunnel and stuff. And he's wondering if I've ever had any problems. I actually have. I've had kind of like on and off issues, especially with my left hand over the years for a long, long time. And it's pretty good right now. And there's nothing in particular that I do. If I'm going through a bout of kind of issues, which for me, my issues are like sort of tightness in my forearm occasionally, and occasionally a little bit of numbness in my hand, which is probably coming from carpal tunnel or maybe my elbow, I think. If I ever have those kinds of issues, I did see a physiotherapist a long, long time ago that gave me some stretches and stuff, and my friend John Button showed me some because he's way into that. But you can kind of put your hand up against a wall, so like flat surface, and just kind of you just sort of stretch your hand back on the wall, or even what I'm doing right now is fine, like this, and just kind of gently, and then hold that stretch. You're kind of stretching out all this stuff in here, and then you kind of go the other way and do one of these. I remember a John Petrucci video where he was doing these kinds of things, these stretches and stuff that he does, and I think they are helpful, kind of just down and up, that kind of thing, and not not real forceful, like don't get crazy with it, but those seem kind of helpful. A little bit of ibuprofen every now and then is works wonders for me. I had an issue where this joint in my thumb, like where I'd put my hand on the back of the neck and I'd hold certain chords and I'd feel this thing pop. And that sucks. Like that would happen sometimes like mid-song while I'm playing or something. It'd be like, oh, it's a terrible feeling. And then I feel like it takes like months to recover from that. So there's something going on in there with like a tendon or something that's probably popping over a bone or who knows what. But it's a little weird. I just try and like play with a very light touch these days. Don't, try too hard to, like I'm pushing down and stuff like that. And I use 10s. I don't go any heavier than that. And my action's pretty darn low, like as low as I can get it comfortably without, crappy buzzing or anything like that. So I'm constantly setting up my guitars, making sure that they're, relatively easy to play. But yeah, just be aware of all that stuff. And, fine tune your string gauge, a little bit of stretching, a little bit of ibuprofen, stuff like that. And if you feel anything weird, there's nothing wrong with going to the doc, sports medicine type of docs, get like a referral to somebody if you're having issues and see if they can help you out. I don't want to give medical advice beyond that, that's for sure. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but the little things that I mentioned, those work for me. Okay, that's all the time I have today. I actually got to run off, but I will do another one of these within a week for sure, get to some more questions. Hey, we've got new Tim and Pete guitar show episodes coming soon. Thanks for hanging in there on that. They're kind of few and far between right now because we're just working around our own schedules and stuff like that. But we've got a website coming. and all kinds of good stuff. Tim and I are so excited about the show, really stoked. Just having a great time doing it and bringing you all these awesome guests and stuff. And yeah, it's just like a love fest. It's really fun. So more of that coming real soon. All right, hit subscribe if you haven't on my channel. I really appreciate it. Come back and see me real soon. More pedal demos and stuff coming soon too. All right, I am Pete Thorn. Over now. Take care.